All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 135 and 147 pound division, where Gervonta Davis's camp speaks out about the rumors about him working with Errol Spence Jr. in preparation for the Terrence Crawford rematch, and actually clarifies the situation and makes a big offer to Errol Spence Jr., which would be interesting and very similar to something that Terrence Crawford did while he was preparing to fight Errol Spence Jr. in the first fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147 pound division and the 135 pound division at the same time, where there had been rumblings going around in boxing last week about the relationship between Errol Spence Jr. and his future Hall of Fame trainer, 2022 Trainer of the Year, one of the best trainers in boxing, Derek James, about whether or not they were going to be parting ways or not. And one of the names mentioned for being able to work with Errol there was two names that were thrown out there, and wasn't going to verify either one of those. One was Roy Jones Jr., and the other is Calvin Ford of Gervonta Davis's camp. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really does make a gigantic difference to the channel, especially to the people that come by supporting the super thanks of videos like this, which is the little $ you can see down by the comment, where you can leave comments in the comment section. But thank you to everybody that watches the video. Let's get into this. Calvin Ford said that he would definitely be open to help Derek James and Errol Spence Jr. prepare for the Terrence Crawford rematch, which should be coming up in December. There is no date that has actually been out there, but could be in December. Actually made, which is a little bit different than the question that he was asked. A shout out to the Rise podcast. You can get this interview and this statement on the Rise podcast YouTube page. As you know, the Rise podcast is out of Upton Gym in Baltimore, Maryland, and is, intimately involved with the camp of Gervonta Tank Davis. So he asked Calvin Ford and I do believe that it was Senior. Shout out to Senior, man. Oftentimes in our live stream, man, just really, really good people over there. I asked Calvin Ford about, what was going on with him and Errol Spence Jr. Is there any truth to it? And basically what he said was, look, that Derek James is his guy. And if that camp needed any help from him, that he would be more than willing to give it. And he said, look, one thing and this is what I thought was the most interesting, is he said the one thing that we could offer them is, Tank is this guy. If he needs sparring for Terrence Crawford, Tank would definitely be there to help him and work with him, for that fight, which is interesting because my first thought was, well, I always knew that it wasn't true that Derek James was fired by Errol Spence Jr. There's some things that I had heard about whether or not there could be somebody else being brought in to help prepare, give him a different look, give him something else to work on, similar to what was going on with Jermell Charlo and Juan Guzman, who joined that camp. But at the end of the day, that's going to be Errol Spence Jr.'s decision, and there's nothing that I've heard to say that he's actually made one. However, if you recall, as it pertains to sparring, Terrence Crawford brought in a lightweight to spar him for the a lightweight southpaw to spar him to prepare for Errol Spence Jr. And that was Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson is, talked about it openly, right? Now, Gervonta Davis, could he do a good job imitating Terrence Crawford? As a southpaw, he probably could. And he's somebody that's been around boxing for a very long time. So I wouldn't see, other than the length aspect of it, the height and the length aspect of it, which is a significant issue, I would suppose, that he has the skill set and the ability to mimic another fighter and to fight in the style that fighter, and that fighter fights in. So I don't think it would be a bad idea at all. And plus, it's another very, very high level world-class fighter to help you get sharper. And without a doubt, Gervonta Davis would help Errol Spence Jr. get sharper, which he did not look at all in the last fight that he had with Terrence Crawford. Now, this also comes along with the conversations about whether or not, Errol Spence Jr. should spar with somebody like a Jaron Ennis to help him prepare for the fight. Look, at the end of the day, that's going to be Errol Spence Jr.'s decision. That's going to be Derrick James' decision, and whatever that camp decides that they're going to do. But from the outside looking in, I think that would probably be a smart thing, man, to be able to consistently spar at that level. And that is something that Terrence Crawford does. So for people that say, no, these guys never spar each other, they don't do this, they don't do that, man, Terrence Crawford seems like he has literally sparred everybody at one point in time or another. From Tim Bradley to Shakur Stevenson, right? And being somebody that was with Top Rank working in those gyms, you even see guys like Shakur Stevenson sparring Jared Anderson, right? So to have a little bit more of that go on with the PBC is probably not a bad thing at all. Because if there's one thing that I see kind of with the PBC and what, some of the things that it's good at and things that it looks like it's not so good at, compared to like Top Rank, is that the things that it does very well is it's decentralized. So a lot of the costs are decentralized, and it allows and it is, I think it's more fighter friendly as far as the amount of money each fighter earns. But because there's not like a PBC gym where most of the PBC fighters can go and train with other PBC fighters, you don't necessarily get the matchmakers there's no, that I know of, PBC matchmakers sitting around saying, okay, let's put this guy in this guy. Let's see what this guy is doing in sparring with that guy. Let's give this dude this opportunity to spar this guy to develop him in this way. Just don't see a lot of that. And it probably would not be a bad idea at all for those guys to start doing it with each other. But again, like, these dudes are independent contractors, and a lot of those PBC fighters, they just don't necessarily roll like in an extremely brotherly fashion. At least that's what it looks like to me. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.